Family, what up? I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jamon Glenn, to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th. Family, what's up? Happy Thursday to everyone. We are live tonight, and I'm excited because I have a very special guest that we are going to have a conversation with tonight. Hey, we're still having that conversation about innovation. And so welcome to our Infusion Talk. Tonight I have my good brother Dion Cashaw with me and someone that I respect in the space of entrepreneurship and business. And so we're going to dive into that a little bit tonight. We're going to get to hear about his journey. And so, looking forward to that. Next week, y'all. Next week, Infusion Summer 2025 is just 8 days away, 9 days away. And we are excited about all that's going to happen next weekend. But until then, do me a favor. I want you to share this live tonight. I want you to tag a couple of people. I want you to register for Saturday's session. If you have not registered for Saturday's session, I want you to register for Saturday's session. It is only $50. We're going to have some good times with Dr. Glenn and got a couple of other things that we are working to have on that morning for those who registered. Friday night, it's open to everybody. It's going to be a worship encounter. My sister Kiana Coley, Percy Robinson, Dr. Jamon Glenn have all agreed to join me on that evening to partner, to refuel, to reignite, to gather and encourage and inspire, my brothers and sisters in this faith walk. It's going to be special. So make sure you be there. So again, as I mentioned tonight, we have my good brother Dion Cashaw, and we're going to be talking to him in just a minute. But again, we're going to continue to tag. We're going to continue to share and let everyone know that we are live. Come on and get those names in the comment section for everyone that is watching tonight. We're grateful for you for tuning in. We're grateful as well I want to shout out, man, we had several sponsors that have sponsored people for this. And so we're grateful. And I just want to say, we're about 65, we have 60 to 65 slots or openings or seats left for that Saturday. Do a brother a favor, help us reach our goal. Let's knock these 65 seats out by next Friday. Greatly appreciate you all. Would love for you to be there both days, but definitely want you there for that Saturday, Friday as well. But definitely give us one day or 2 days or both days, right? One or the other, whichever one your schedule allows. But again, I believe in this so much. I believe you need to be there. All right. So again, tonight, Dion, what's up, man? I want you to say what's up to everybody.
What's going on? How y'all doing out there, man? I'm happy to be here.
Good, man. Just let us get to know you a little bit. So I got this thing that I do, right? So we're going to get your name. We're going to get your company name and what you do. But then we're going to play a little game. and
All
then
right.
we'll dive into our conversation on tonight. And so, just let everybody know, where you from, the name of your business, how long you've been in business, and what you do.
All right. My name is Dion Cashaw. Thank you, brother. Movie appreciate it. Appreciate it. Uh, I own a few different companies: Quality Touch Community Care, Quality Homes, QT Supports, and I just created a conglomerate named Dion Cashaw Enterprises. So those are just a few of the business. I started my entrepreneurship journey at the age of I think it was 14 when I was back in middle school, and my mom and my dad allowed me to own a online company called SMC, where I started selling knickknacks and stuff. I'm 34 now, so I got 20 years of entrepreneurship.
Wow. Wait, Dion, how old are you?
34.
Wow. And you have 20 years of entrepreneurship. Listen, I wasn't just gonna let you skate by with that. I wasn't gonna let you skate by with that. But we're gonna come back to that, man. We're gonna get into some more serious questions, you know, and but before we do that, I like to play this game, this or that. Right? I
Okay.
like to know, you know, what you like, what your preferences are, and it's just a fun way that we get to know you as a person.
All right.
So I'm gonna say two things, and you're gonna choose one or the other.
All right.
All right. Um, Morning or night?
Morning.
Fruity Pebbles or Cocoa Pebbles?
Cocoa Pebbles.
Martin or Jamie Foxx?
Martin.
Um, Subject grits, salt and pepper, or sugar?
Salt and pepper. No, not crazy. Sugar's crazy. It's oatmeal and cream of wheat, man.
Nike or Adidas?
I'm gonna have to go with Nike.
Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hill.
Ralph.
Lamborghini, Ferrari.
Ah, that's a good one. And I've driven both. It would have to be Ferrari.
Ooh. Atlanta or New York?
New York.
Chinese or Italian food?
Yeah, I knew you was going food there. I'm going to go with Italy.
All right. Um, Vacation. Last one. Vacation. Beach or a famous city, like for like sightseeing.
Definitely beach.
Cool. All right, guys. There you have it, my good brother. We're on tonight, and oh, wait. I got one last one. I got one last
Okay.
one. I got one
Okay.
last one. This one kind of messy, bro. This one kind of messy.
All right. Let's go.
CCM or gospel?
Oh, gospel. That's crazy. Yeah, gospel.
Cool. Man, I see the wife up here. Hey, Erica, thanks for logging in tonight. Thank God for you. Listen, bro, I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. And again, actually, and the people knowing that you are a 34-year-old business professional entrepreneur is just even more exciting, right? Because it's letting me know that all is not lost. People have very harsh criticisms of millennials,
Ah,
um, and it's interesting because in their criticisms, it's like you haven't really done the study. So how can you be that critical of a generation that you really don't know, and it's based on a small interaction or group of people?
yeah. I have to
But
say that. Yeah, that's funny.
but then again, we always have outliers too, right? In every generation, we have these outliers. But bro, I want to, just talk about. You just mentioned how your entrepreneurial journey started when you were 14. What was that like for you compared to what your friends were doing, and then here you are,
My
with
friends,
this business?
yeah, my friends will tell you. Shout out Aliquippa. That's where I'm from. My friends would tell you I used to do their taxes when I was in school. I used to do their taxes. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I was always I got exposed to entrepreneurship from my cousin up here actually. Call him Lolo. He the interesting we was in school back in the day. They used to give us these booklets in school and it had careers and he used to let us pick which career and it had the salary next to it.
Yeah.
I saw this one with this E word I couldn't pronounce. I was like, what is what is this? And it didn't have a dollar amount. It was just like question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
Right above it was air traffic controller. And I was like, whatever. Once I found out what this one is with the E, if I don't know what that is, I'm gonna become an air traffic controller because they paid a lot.
Right.
Found out it was an entrepreneur. Then I wound up asking, like, who do I know as an entrepreneur? I didn't even know what it was. And really just basically means a creator. And I found out my cousin, he did real estate and
Yep.
he had a really good lifestyle. And I just was like, how are you doing this? You're waking up when you want, you go to bed when you want, you do what you want, you seem happy. And I based off of his joy, motivated me to move forward to want to
Yeah.
become that, the freedom. I saw the freedom.
Yeah. And that's good. So you start this at 14.
Yeah,
And would you say like you were basically like locked in from the beginning of the journey, or it was like, yo, this seems different from I want to be a fireman, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. So kind of let me see
yeah.
what.
I remember sitting in school. My teacher gave me that book. I didn't know what it was. She says, "Don't you want to study hard?" I never forget this. It was like fifth or sixth grade. Don't you want to study hard, get good grades, get a job making $100,000 a year? And I said, I want to study hard, get good grades, so I can own the company that pays that person 100,000
Mm,
making me 100 million.
yeah, that's good.
And so that entrepreneurship journey came on from there. So from 14, like those ages, I can always say like once I got exposed and I knew what it was, I was like, there's an unlimited amount of money you can make. And I was like, wow. And that's when back when remember Black Enterprise, the magazine?
Absolutely.
And I used to see all of us black people and they were millionaires and business
Yeah.
owners. I started reading those things and it inspired me.
Oh man, that's really great, man. That's really great. At that age, what would you say one of your hardest or difficult areas were?
Understanding finances for my own and being capped because you're a minor. And so you got all this energy and you
Ooh,
want to go forward. And I did some, I don't recommend people to do this, but when I was 16, I had a 700 credit score. I built my own credit because I was told that black people couldn't have good credit. And I was like, once I understood that if you pay your bills, you have credit cards on max amount, only use 35%, I had a 700 credit score.
wow, that's good, bro. That's good.
And
Hey, Giselle, good to see you tonight. Um, man, it's so. All right, so now you graduate high school.
oh
You
yeah,
have
that's
a few years of entrepreneurship under your belt. You know the whole thing of going to college. What's your major? The whole, what Fortune 500 company you want to work for. Just kind of like this career path, right? That traditionally they paint it, or they paint for us, right? Whether
yeah.
it's medical, whether it's finance, right? What's your frame of thought? Do you end up going to college? Like, how does all of like talk to us about that? Like,
All
because,
right.
and again,
Literally, the day I graduated high school, I hopped on a Greyhound. I got my diploma, walked off stage, got on a Greyhound, moved to New Jersey. Didn't stay for no party, didn't do no celebrations. Walked off the stage, hopped on a Greyhound, came up here, moved in with my cousin. I said, yo, my life starts from this day forward. I got my papers, I got my walking papers. I want to learn how to be an entrepreneur. And
wow,
that's what happened. And I wanted to go to college. I just the I wasn't a good learner as like sitting down,
right,
reading a book. I was always a learner getting out and do it. I had to go trial and error. My father always told me I had a hard head. because I just go like, don't do that, no, or don't do this, and I just go out and try it. And I never considered failure as what most people call failure. I just found that wasn't the right way to do it, so I'm gonna find another way to do it. So college wasn't in the plans for me.
I can't let that go by. Let's go back.
Okay.
Make that statement about failure again.
To me, failure isn't what we traditionally think is failure.
Right.
I always look at it just didn't work out that one way.
It didn't work out that one way.
I just know that way isn't a path, but I'm gonna learn the good things I learned from that, consume the food from that, the nutrients, and try a different way.
Gotcha.
So my college is what people consider failures. That's what my schooling was.
That's good. I'll take that. So you're working through these challenges, right? As a young entrepreneur, did you end up having to get a traditional 9 to 5?
Yes, I did. Once I started understanding finances more and what it took to start a business from the ground up, but I had a plan from that day forward. I worked at Montclair State University, and I was a landscaper, and it was a good salary. It was stability, because in order to get loans, you need a paycheck in order to get loans. So the more income you made, because they request your pay stubs. And if you have a business, you need 2 years worth of tax returns showing that you were actually at a profit. So went and got a job, worked it for 6 years. During that time, I was building up my real estate portfolio on my construction company. I think I owned around that time, I was 22, 23, something like that. I had about 13 multifamily houses in Essex County area. And had a very decent construction company doing about 5 or 6 construction jobs a year outside of
So in that construction space, how are you contracted? Like
I was a GC. I've learned at a very young age. And hopefully a lot of people on here could get these nuggets that I'm about to drop. In order to own the company, you don't have to have a degree. But if they require you to hire somebody with a degree, hire the person with the degree. So that's what I started doing. I researched. I saw at the time, I think the GC general contractor's license was like $500 or $600. You go down to Halsey Street, pay for it, get the liability insurance. Now I'm a licensed general contractor and insured. That's what people wanted to hear. Are you licensed and insured? Yes.
Licensed and insured.
Yeah. So I went through, because a successful entrepreneur analyze problems, because only way you're going to make money is if you solve the problems. So a lot of people try to go under the table, got my LLC, invested in myself, which that is.
Yeah.
And documents in order to go after contracts that other contractors can get. So those contractors who were too lazy, or I won't even say lazy, just wasn't educated enough to go get the GC license or motivated like that, I hired them, sub them through me, had them do the work, and I just collect the checks and manage the money.
That's good, man. That's good. Man, let's talk about what goes into that though, right? Because Dion, our culture, we have this thing where something becomes popular and we start to quote, we start to speak without really living, without any in-depth research. So, everybody, I'm a boss. Let's talk about what really goes into being a boss.
So I put a fine line in describing myself as a boss. I'm a leader. Bosses usually sit behind desks and bark order. A leader goes out in front of them and walk with them. So biblically, King David, if you read whenever he was with Bathsheba, it says during the time when kings went to war, David was out of place. He didn't go to war. And so he fell into a trap. But that shows us that even the kings went out to war. So if you are a CEO, if you're a leader, you're actually a king of what you built. That's your kingdom. In order to have good people out here, you must lead them, shepherd them, steward them. Your business is your ministry. A lot of people don't look at it like that, but that's what it is. So for me, all that stuff, I want to be a boss. Yeah, anybody can get an LLC. It takes $125, $130. I think they just raised the price, $130, $40. And you technically own your own business. But what is the point of the piece of paper if you didn't give birth to it? And what I mean by birthing it is producing revenue from it, actually
Yeah.
making money. But then not just produce revenue, produce profits.
Yeah.
Because you can make $1,000,000 a year, but if your bills are 1,010,000, you're broke.
And that.
And you just spinning your wheels is like running on a hamster wheel going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good. In your journey, you know, in your journey, what is one of the biggest lessons you learned early that you still use today? Like it's invaluable to you.
Mm. Whew. There's so many lessons, but what is the biggest one? Never allow people to tell you who you are. Let God tell you who you are.
And how old were you when you learned that? Like what?
I was very young. I was 14 when they told me I couldn't own my own business, and I did. I was 16 when they told me I couldn't get a 700 credit score, and I did. Whenever they told me I couldn't get they told me I couldn't get a car, I got a car. I never let nobody define me by their views and outlooks on life because they're too afraid to go out to go conquer. We say we follow the word of God, but if I really truly believe I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, I believe it and I trust God that He's going to guide me through it. And that's what I do. I embody the Adam dominion spirit, meaning if God tell me who I am, that's who I am, and you won't tell me who I am. And I had people, they call me liars, they call me this, I will never be. And when the scripture says He prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemy, I just kept letting God prepare it because your words don't justify what God is doing.
Yeah.
And anybody who really follows the word of God, you'll see their fruits. And I believe my fruit speaks better than me actually going to go fight you. I let God fight my battles.
Yeah. This is good, Dion. This is really good, man. And I'm appreciating um your testimony and your story today because many people don't many people will see a person's success and be drawn, be enamored, impressed, and even would like to possess it,
Mm-hmm.
covet it.
I was about
That's
to
the
say
word I
cover.
was looking
Yep,
for.
yep,
Yeah, that's
cover.
the word I was looking for. Covet it without knowing the person's story,
Mm-hmm.
without knowing how this person got to where they are. And I think in our culture we have to be careful because we're drawn one by our own lusts. We're enticed by the things that we see, and we often should do heart checks and assessments about our intent and our purpose of this, man. Like, so, we'll go back and forth a little bit between, how I flow with the questions, but what would you say to someone who's just starting out, right? Regardless of age.
You know what? You can actually do it. The second God gave you the desire, He placed in front of you the roadmap to get there. Don't worry about the steps and get stuck in what I call a mental paralysis because we get worried about everything, get overwhelmed. And that's a trick of the enemy because he wants to stop you from going to where you God has ordained you to go. Just take
Yeah.
one step at a time. And after you take that step, God will reveal to you the next step. Continue just taking each step and you will get there.
How important is faith to you, bro? Because I mean, not only are you dropping nuggets, but you definitely dropping the word tonight. How important? This is off the script, y'all.
Yeah.
How important is faith to you in your journey?
So that's why the ministry is called the House of Faith, because without faith, it's impossible to please God.
Yeah.
So faith is really, I always say to people, God tells us, I mean, in John, what it says, faith without works is dead. So
Yeah.
the opposite of that means if I have faith and I work, that means it's alive. I test it. The Bible says, try me or test me, try me in this. So I try God,
Thank you, God.
argue the scripture. If
Yeah.
God says it's so, I'm going to make sure it's so because he said he's not a man, so he shouldn't lie. So if I believe that he's not going to lie, guess what? A lot of
Yeah.
times we say we believe, but do you really trust God? Trust,
Yeah.
trust is
Yeah.
having courage because fear, we all have fear and faith. God, I believe, but help my unbelief. That what that is telling us there is, God, give me the courage to go through.
Yeah.
I need courage. I need courage to withstand the storm.
Yeah.
I need courage to be able to go walk on water when you say come. But you want to hear something? If Jesus told you to walk on water, just like he did Peter, he was there to pull him out. So he's not
Yeah.
going to let you drown. Even if you take your eyes off him, he's not going to let you drown.
That's
And that's
good.
what faith is.
Man, that's good. That's good. And I asked that question not just because you were quoting scriptures again, because I mentioned people not knowing people's stories when they
Yeah.
see the results. And I think before we attempt to covet, before we attempt to, want something like someone, like we should ask, those questions of what got you here,
Mm-hmm.
what, transpired in your life that became motivation for you. And I know part of your journey, you mentioned for everything someone said you couldn't do, it became fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
But then
know,
I had to show you where I changed that because it was being homeless. So a lot of people don't know. Being homeless. This is why
mm,
I'm so strong in the homeless ministry. This is why we feed close to 100 people a week in our ministry.
yeah,
Certain heart, I understand what it means to take a shower. That's why, I love what Sharonda's doing in the community. That's why I support her so strongly because I knew because I needed a shower to go get the job. I needed a fresh pair of clothes because that shower was the motivation for me to go out to go for my next because it gave me dignity, right? So you don't see that. You don't see where you're going through divorce.
mm,
You don't see where you're dealing with somebody that raped your child. You don't see the pain. You don't see my weight that I carry, but you see my crown. But you want my weight. You want to covet what I have. Are you strong enough to go through what I went through to get what I got? And are you strong enough? Because God told me, he said, I've always wondered why I couldn't go out and wild out like as much as I want and go crazy. He said, because you asked me for great things. Because you asked me for great things, you can't do what the normal people do because they
yeah,
ask for things. So there's a great weight and there's great punishment. And not punishment, but there's great trials. But there's
yeah,
also great testimony.
yeah. This is good. This is good. Because you definitely can't have the testimony without the test or the trials.
Yeah,
You can't have the message without the mess.
exactly.
It's Man, and it's interesting, Dion, because most of the things that grow us up are the things that most people avoid,
Mm-hmm.
the things that mature us. And, your story is one that I think should definitely be shared with people, um, so that their hope can be fed,
Yeah.
their faith can be fed, because we know that this journey, even when God makes a promise, there are still things that you have to go through in order to receive that promise or the promise actualize, right there. God will give you a word today, and then it may not happen for a month, 2 months, or even years for
Yeah.
some people, right? And then that process, you know what are we doing to fuel our faith? you
Yeah.
know
And so,
Israel, to possess the promised land,
mm-hmm.
they had to defeat 31 kingdoms, right? That's not something that's spoken about. All they hear, I'm going to show you a land that's flowing with milk and honey.
Yep.
Ashanda, milk and honey. I'm going to get my milk and honey. But it's like when you show up to get your milk and honey, it's a bunch of bees around the hive. You can't get your honey, right?
Yep.
You see people standing in places that God promised. Whoa, God, what's wrong? You said this was mine.
Mm-hmm. And,
And
and what
so,
do you do to take back your territory?
yeah, what do you do to become that solid CEO, business owner, um, you know, for the business professionals, managers, leaders. Like, what do you do? Like, you have to make hard decisions. Sometimes you got to make cuts. Don't want to
Yeah,
make cuts, right? Like,
yeah,
it takes a strength that we don't often speak enough about. I'll say that we
yeah,
don't often speak enough or speak elaborate. We don't elaborate as much as we should at times to kind of just give people reality.
yeah,
Like, oh, you're gonna be successful, but man, it's gonna be some hell on your way up.
yeah. One of my mentors says, when you pray for the big number, expect the big bill. A lot of people don't talk about the big bill
Yeah,
or what it takes to manage that, or you hit on a couple of things, what it took. And one thing I'm in my journey now is identifying where I'm at now, because what fueled me to get here isn't going to fuel me to get me to my next level. If I
mm,
don't get healed properly from my brokenness that got me here, I won't be able to go into my next that God has for me. So I'm going through this healing journey. I quoted I keyed a saying, people say hurt people,
yep,
healed people heal people. So I'm
yeah,
actually trying my best to through my healing to heal people, because I went to go speak to a group of guys. Pastor Odom helped me go there, and I always ask people, "What is your environment?" A lot of times people go to the past where they grew up, and I said, "Is that your current environment?" Because a lot of times we dwell so much in the past, we forget where God brought us to. And if that past got you there, look at the blessing that you're in, because for you to get to your next level, you can't use that same hate. Because you know
yeah,
what? Them people probably dead and gone. The ones who
yeah,
told you wouldn't make it, they're gone, or they don't even matter. So what's
yep,
fueling your next? So changing of the mindset. And that's why I believe the Bible teaches us, be ye not conformed by the things of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Once you conquer your mind, you can manifest whatever God tells you, because you can hear what he says.
mm,
And you talk about the weight of letting people go. I went through a thing where I had to let almost 75% of my company go. Just imagine, I had almost 200 employees at one point. Those are family. So just do the math. Yeah,
but people want to be the boss.
I know. They don't understand that weight.
People want to. I'm a boss. Have
Yeah.
you ever had to fire somebody?
Yes. A lot of times they fire themselves, because you know what?
Talk about that part.
A lot of people don't understand. So whenever you create a company, you create standards, you create operating procedures, you create employee handbooks. And a lot of people, we do it at our job. I did it at my job, man. You try to find slick ways to get over, but when we get caught, we act like we're the victim. We have the victim mentality. So what happens when now you are the owner of the company and people are taking advantage and they go against your code? I had people steal money off of credit cards. I had people clock in and don't clock in and leave. That's theft of time. All that's coming out your pocket, and
Yeah,
you're running this industry. Now, what happens where the job where you took advantage of all the time? Now you're the owner of that job, and people are going to get taking advantage of you, and then you have to let them go, because guess what? They keep calling out, they're not showing up, they always got issues. Their baby, their son, their grandma died 7 times. I was like, how many grandmas you got? You deal with this, and then when you from the hood and like, bro, you running games, stop, tell me the truth. You try to give them a shot, and guess what? No, they still take advantage. They're stealing client stuff, money, different things. They're just wilding, and you got to let them go. And a lot of times they fire themselves because you give them warning after warning.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you have children, the teacher didn't give the children a grade. The child earned that grade
Mm,
in most cases, right? The teacher, and most teachers aren't just waking up saying, "I'm gonna just give you a F." It is like these are the grades that you've earned, and so it is in life. In many situations, unless you're getting laid off,
mm,
they didn't just fire you; you fired yourself.
yeah. A lot of times we fire ourselves. And now there are times where the bosses have issues. I had to deal with, people abusing power in supervisory roles,
Yeah,
because that's the thing too. But when you're the top, think about it. When you're owner of the company, everybody wants to talk to the CEO. The buck stops with you. Everybody got to get your answer. Your whatever you say is law. So they always trying to get to you. But sometimes you got to deal with abusive of
Yeah.
power people because some people can't handle power. When you extend them grace, they don't know how to share grace with other people.
Yeah.
And they abuse power. And sometimes the employees be right. And then you just have to make sure your systems are in place to monitor them. I caught
Yeah.
employees, treating other employees bad, and I had to correct them and terminate them too because these are people and they just come to do work. But once again, they fire themselves because of their emotions. They're not emotionally balanced. They don't study emotional intelligence. They have no idea how to think instead of react. Because sometimes we just promote people because they're good at a position, but do they have the other qualities of leadership?
Man. Who are some of the people that inspire you?
Bishop T.D. Jakes,
Yeah.
uh, Bishop Michael Odom, um, John Hope Bryant, because I'm going into this real estate field again. I took a break from real estate for 6 years, and now by the end of this year, hopefully, it was 100 houses. But when I did my calculations, I'm up to 140 houses purchased this year, and I'm going into new levels. So, seeing people who are I've already achieved what I want or where I'm at, they inspire me. John Hope Bryant, because he's already have 700 single family homes. Right now, I just purchased 200. I'm on my way. So I need to be around people like that. I have mentors, Jay Walsh. I got different people that inspire me. But really, who's been for years and they didn't know it, and I'm so glad I finally got into the mentorship program with him. Well, it's called the Dexterity Circle. It's Bishop Jakes. When I was going through some of the roughest times of my life, his sermons
Yeah.
really got me through. And then just seeing how a lot of people don't know he has this huge real estate portfolio. He
Yeah.
does business. He's a businessman who loves God. Like he was a businessman who loves God. And just seeing those things, man. Another person was my cousin Lolo. He really inspired me a lot. I looked up to him because he was another person who did a lot with a little, and just to see the rag the riches story like firsthand, that was crazy for me. That was good.
Man, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Dion. Um, let's talk about like the importance of that mentor piece.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people, we don't think that, especially when you feel as if you made it to a certain level, you don't think you can be taught or learn anything else. Mentors, the Bible teaches us to seek wise counsel. Mentors are the people who've done things already in life, or they can help you from some pitfalls. I needed to place myself around people who been what I've been through, and I kid you not just the guidance, but even the rooms or the doors they open you up to. Like you be like, oh, I'm sitting in this room. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hearing these conversations. I'm seeing how this goes. I get to see the business behind church. I get to see the business
Yeah.
behind actual running, organizations with 2,000 employees. I get to see these things. They're mentoring me and they're showing me, and they're showing like, hey, don't go this route or go to this bank. My friend owns a bank. Oh, he does? Here, go call him. He will help you out with this. Mentors, they're just resources that God placed there for you. But if you
Yeah.
too
That's
to
good.
actually go, they're not. You're going to kill you. You're actually going to stagnate yourself.
This is good. This is good. Thank you, man, for that explanation. One of the things that we're going to be dealing with next week at Infusion, and this is what these Infusions talks have been about, was just that word innovation.
Yeah,
And we've been teaching at the church, man, just talking about how innovation is about new ideas, strategies, solutions that enhance, make more effective, efficient. Um, Man, in business, and in leading, innovation is such a key component to help you get unstuck if you find yourself stuck. Um, resolve things. Well, I'll say this. Yeah, resolve difficulties, right? Or opportunity. You
Yeah,
with innovation, you get to see the opportunities in the difficulties versus looking at the difficulties as something that will will cause you to quit or like there's no way out of this, right? You got to think different. You got to step outside your comfort zone, man. Just talk about like how you've um, implemented innovation in your business throughout the course of the years, and if you can remember specific seasons or moments where you kind of had to go outside, think outside the box, or you know
yeah.
get creative with your funding because that type of thing, right? Because people said you couldn't do something, so all right, well, let me go in my bag, let me pull from here,
Yeah.
let me maneuver. Talk about that a
Co-
little bit, man.
COVID was one of the most innovative times for me, and I get all my stuff in prayer. And this is not, I don't want to sound cliche, but me and God really every night we have conversations. COVID, I just started my healthcare company. I was in a little bit of a rut. I'm like, I can't grow because you can't go on people's houses. You can't. It was like everything is shut down. I said, God, what are we going to do in this moment, man? What do you want me to do? And I never forget. I was sitting on my couch and I had this face mask in my hand, and he said, "This." I said, "What is this?" Called my business partner. I said, "Hey, I believe God told me we should get into manufacturing." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We should. There's a shortage." So here, every time, if you want to be successful in a business, look for a problem and find a solution. There was a shortage of face masks. There's a shortage of PPE. God placed me with a guy who had a lot of money, a few $1 million, and he was my business partner. So I said, "Hey, let's go on Alibaba and drop ship a bunch of face masks." So we ordered hundreds of thousands of dollars of face masks. We were selling to hospitals. We were supplying other healthcare companies. We've made during COVID because the CLIA license, in order to get the whole COVID test, you had to go get a CLIA license. During that time, that's a licensed laboratory license. I still have it to this day. I'm a licensed lab. I'm also a Quest Diagnostic, right? And I got all that stuff being innovative through COVID because you had to get testing in order
Yeah,
to get on planes, do all this stuff. $250 that license cost me. I made $1 million off that license, legit during COVID.
bro, this is great because I think people have a misconception about innovation,
Yeah,
what it looks like. Like I'm like, if you're a parent and you looking at your refrigerator and you looking at what you don't have, but then you're able to look at what you do have and you're able to sustain and make meals for the entire week.
yeah.
That's
You
innovation.
make it happen, make it something out of nothing.
Listen, every week so many of us are innovative, but we're looking at this like, you know, out of the wrong lens, right? Like you're solving, you're resolving. He talked about the problem and you creating a solution for the problem. That's innovation. And I think in the climate that we're living in now, like it's necessitating for us to be innovative, whether it's collaboration. You talked about several times tonight, and I don't want to skip this. Several times tonight, you talked about partnership.
Yeah, the
You talked
power of
about
partnership.
collaboration, right? Partnership, colleagues, or partnership like one up mentors, right? Like partnership, that's collaboration. That's also innovation.
Can I
Um,
tell you my thoughts behind that? I tell a lot
sure,
of
let's go.
people who wants to be entrepreneurs, and I look to help with them. I'm like, hey, give me a percentage of your company. I partner with you. They're so in love with because they created this LLC. They will much rather keep 100% of nothing than to have 50% of $100 million because they no telling what we can do. And my idea is I'll take 50% of 100 million over 100% of nothing. You're holding on to your pride, which is valued at nothing. You might have the idea, but if you don't have the actual people behind you to get you into those rooms or fund you or get you where you need to go, you just have a great idea.
Oh, this is good, y'all. Dion talking real good tonight. If you're watching this tonight, thank you for joining in. I am speaking with Dion Cashaw. He is a serial entrepreneur. Um, and I thank God for his brilliance, for his mind. And we're talking everything innovation. We're talking about his journey. We're talking about what he's doing now and some of the things he's projected to do. And if you're just joining in, definitely go back and watch the beginning, catch the replay. But I also want you to share tonight's conversation with that person you've been talking to about your goals, about your dreams, about the things that you want to do. Because in this season, man, shout out to my brother Derek Etienne that's on tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey Rhonda, I see Rhonda in the comments as well.
Rhonda, hey, that's one of my partnerships right there. I
There you
love
go.
it.
She's doing the great work. Rhonda,
Yes.
when Infusion is over, we definitely gotta go live. So probably in the next couple of weeks we'll go live and talking about the work that you're doing. And definitely want to highlight that. And man, we can even do a fundraiser or something that night to kind of fill in some of those gaps for those needs that you have, and connect you with some more people to help you work the work and assignment God has given you, man. So shout out to you and all the work that you're doing.
Yes.
Dion, man, this is great, man. But this is definitely the time, to be innovative, right? People, talk about the tariffs. People talk about inflation. People talk about tax rising. And so the question I have is, what are you going to do with all of the changes that are happening? Are you just going to sit back and complain and
Nah, one of my mentees just asked me that question because she does wigs and she builds wigs and she has to import from other countries. And she said, "Oh, they're charging me $900 or whatever additionally for shipping because of the tariffs." And I said,
yeah,
"Okay, this is what you do. You have to actually add that into your cost. You don't take the hit because if you take the hit, that takes your profit. How
yeah,
many wigs or how many products can you produce out of your shipment? And then divide that and spread it amongst the cost and just tell people, hey, prices are going up. So at the end of the day, you also have to be, listen, God is always going to make a way for you. You just have to adjust with it. And if you feel like that business is not going to work for you at this time, guess what? Transition. Get yourself in alignment. If you got to fly to China yourself, go get exposed. With all these new coming things, you know, I always lean on trusting God because God tells us, and the Bible tells us, the heart of the king is in God's hand. So I don't care what king we have, and like if I was studying, I'm doing a Bible study on the book of Judges. Every time there's a tyrant king, God raises up a judge. So yeah, the suffering might be for a few years, but then I always looked at it, the peace lasts longer than what that tyrant king did.
man, it's oh man. Taylor Banks is on tonight. Tay, I gotta connect you and Dion. I gotta connect you and Dion. Taylor is doing an amazing work in the mental health space, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
also, bro, she's currently creating um, programming for leaders and pastors,
Okay.
specifically targeting leaders and pastors, business owners, in this space. It's an amazing work that she's doing. And so, man, Tay, thanks for logging in tonight.
Hey,
But
Taylor, we're gonna get up.
yeah, definitely, I'll connect you too, and
Thank you.
I think that'll definitely be another power move, man. But bro, it's just so much that needs to be done. Like even in the example that you just used in building in the cost. It's like instead of it's almost like acting like God is not God and you don't have access to him to say, all right, God, here's what's happening. How do I make this work? All right, well, call Dion. Dion's gonna tell you to build the cost in your product, right? And what you're doing, right? And what how many do you have to sell? Right. All right, cool. You want to keep lost cost low, but you also want to keep your profit margins. So having that conversation, you know, is the innovative conversation. It's the conversation about solutions. I
Yeah.
think too often, man, we're focusing on the wrong part of the equation.
Because we have a lack mindset. what we always come from lack, right? We always think in lack, but we come from an abundant God. God says, "I own the earth and the fullness thereof." Meaning, if you have a God that owns everything, why are you always operating in lack? So when you operate in lack,
Wait, time out, bro. You just can't be thrown out there and then just trying to move on. Like, hold on, bro. Hold on. Wait a minute. You probably don't even know what you said. Watch, I'm gonna ask you to say it again. You're gonna probably say it different.
Mhm.
Say
we
what you just
operate,
said
we
about God.
operate. Okay, God says He owned the earth and the fullness thereof.
Yep.
So if He owns the earth and the fullness thereof, and we are His children, kings and queens of His, why are we always operating in lack when God has everything?
Selah.
It's the mindset. I want you to understand the law of polarities. If there is a poor you, the law of polarity says there's a rich you. You just got to access it.
Say that again.
The law of polarity.
The law of polarity.
If there's a poor you,
If there's a poor you,
there's also a rich you.
there's also a rich you. Let's let that marinate, bro. And country Wayne would say, let that sizzle.
Let that sizzle.
Let that
Sizzle in your
God,
spirit.
this is really good, man. Hey Gail. Um wow. Bro. So these are the conversations actually, bro, that we really need to have because there's so much that's out there, but we're looking through the lens of lack versus the lens of abundance,
Exactly.
right? A God who in his kingdom there is no recession.
Nope.
There is no recession. And that you mentioned the story of, well, you just mentioned the illustration of having like a tyrant leader.
Mhm.
Um, but even in that suffering, you still live, you still thrive, right? Or even if it's not a thriving season, you're still living through it and learning through it and growing through it so that when you come out, you're not coming out empty handed.
Can I tell you, when you operate in a mindset of lack, it's like a dopamine high. You're actually addicted to the lack. You're
Bro,
high on the lack. We got to change your addiction. Get high on abundance. I can go all day with this because I operate, for me, like I said, heal people. And I'm just trying to call out these demons that people say. When the guy was cursed with all the demons, when Jesus went across the river to go see him, he was in the graveyard. He said, Legion. So a lot of times we don't understand what that means. God revealed to me when he had a mental clarity break, he saw Jesus and ran the 1 second. And Jesus spoke to the demons, which is abandonment, brokenness, voice of lack. We thinking that their name is Larry, Reggie, Satan. No, these are the demons that have your mind a hold. I'm trying to give you the tools to break the curses, to cast them out. This is demon casting out. Because once I get you to not operate in lack, you operate in abundance, and that's what God told you you are. When we look at Satan's name, the adversary, the tempter, those are the things he's good at. The accuser, those are the things that you're hearing in your mind. But what did God say you are? Who did God call you to be? Let's operate in those rooms. Because just like the enemy that told you who you aren't, God said you are. You're more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But do you believe it? But you believe the negative talk.
we believe the negative talk. That's good. We always tend to go to the negative part or the
Yeah.
wrong end of the
The spectrum.
story,
Yeah.
the
You know what
spectrum.
I tell people when they go there? I say, you need to ask yourself, what is the truth in this? Are you broke or are you just cash poor right now? because there's a
Talk to
difference
us,
in the
bro.
power in your words.
Talk
The
to
power of
us.
life or death is in the power of the tongue. So life or death is in your tongue. What are you calling it?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. What are you calling? So I didn't mean to go there. My bad. The spirit and yeah,
Bro, let's go. Like hey, I can handle it. We good. If we here, let's go
yeah.
because
Let's go because
we
I
have
want you to
to
go
cast
free.
down the imagination and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And then it tells us to bring all thought into captivity.
Captivity. You know what that is? So your subconscious tells you automatically if you have a negative mindset, your subconscious brings that. Your conscious is the one that brings it in captivity because it says, hold up, that's a lie. I'm aware that my thought is a lie and let me catch it. Nah, because I'm not broke right now. I get paid next Friday. So that doesn't mean I'm broke. I'm not homeless. I'm not on the street. Right now, I'm just a little cash poor. But how do I get out of that? I got to reassess my values, reassess where I'm spending my money.
Yeah. You gotta innovate, man. You
Yeah.
gotta innovate. And one of the things that, we've really been leaning on this past month as we've been talking about innovation, like if God who created the heavens and the earth,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of alluded to you when you talked about God owning the land or the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof.
Yeah.
If God is the God, the progenitor, the one who created all, and he is our father,
Mm-hmm.
and we possess the DNA of our father,
Go ahead.
then creativity and innovation is in our DNA.
You are a creator. Yes.
We are creators. Regardless of the industry that you work in, you are a creator, you are a creative, right? And we've kind of deduced that to entertainment and arts and technology. No, you're out here solving problems. You are a creative, you are innovative. You out here giving solutions, you are creative, you are innovative because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They solve, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think we have to really tap into that some more. I've been kind of just dealing with, the Holy Spirit is for more than talking in tongues,
Mm-hmm.
and we deduce that to talk. I mean, man, when you talk about it's God living in us, the kingdom in us,
Yeah.
the creator in us, the creator
Yeah.
all caps, God all caps in us, creating, innovating, um, and we
Mm-hmm.
minimize this, right? Because let's just say, all right, so in business, we're talking capital, you need capital and things like that, and it's like, well, what are some creative ways to generate capital, to generate revenue, right? And for us, it's like you don't have to pray for money. God will give you the strategy. And I asked the question to the church on Sunday, what's in your hands?
Yeah.
In
And you know
your
what?
hands. Go ahead.
That's you know where that comes from because we have the mindset of ownership instead of stewardship.
Mm,
Ownership, you try to possess it in your hands. You have to do. Stewardship, God allowed you to steward it and he's going to bless it because he's the God of the harvest. He owns the wine vineyard. He's the one that gives you the talents, whether you bury it, you double it, or yeah, 2 times or 5 times.
talk to
You
us.
are stewarding this. And when you steward something, that means God gonna have to take care of it. So God knows what you have need of. That's why the Bible tells us worry for nothing and pray about everything.
Thank you,
If the
Jesus.
Father in heaven, if he knows us who are evil give good gifts to our children, what makes you think your heavenly Father who is good won't give you a good gift and give you what you need? So if he gave you the vision and you had the faith to trust him to walk on the water, he's going to make sure he's always there to pull you up.
Guys, we're giving strategy tonight. We're giving strategy tonight. I don't know if you're catching it, but you're getting strategy tonight. Dr. Jamon Glenn says something in one of his recent series. He says the Bible isn't just a spiritual book that we read, but it's a strategy.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
I'm I'm saying, man, it's all around us. It's in front of us. It's all
mhm.
around us. It's in front of us, and we just need to wake up and see we need to make up and see. Scripture says, "Let him who hath an ear hear what the Spirit." What
Come
you
on now.
hear affects what you see, and if you're hearing right, if you're hearing correctly, you're gonna see correctly.
Yes.
Man, bro, like this is.
And then one of the hard things we don't do, we don't kill out the noise. Because when you have too much noise, I never forget when God took me down, and I always had people ask me for money, family members or whatever, and I used to feel guilty. I guilted into giving them money. Oh, I need $3,000-$4,000 for my rent or whatever. You need to remember this. You know what God did? God actually, he stalled me. He didn't stop the blessings. He stalled it at a certain plateau because I wasn't stewarding his money right. Because I was giving it because I didn't hear where he said to give it to. And then that same $3,000 or $4,000 I was giving for somebody to pay 1 month of their rent, and then they're gonna be back actually next month because they didn't understand how to become fishers. They just wanted to fish. God said, if you steward it properly, I'll show you what it can do. And then Sharonda came up, and we had the innovative thought of, buying these homeless showers, $3,600, less than that person's rent. Now we're showering over 500 people for the summer with that.
Yeah,
I'm still giving. I'm listening to where God says give to.
this is
I have to
good.
kill the noise. And whenever you hear it, you can see it. And I heard him. And it's not like I'm no longer a giver. I'm still a giver. I still have a giving heart. But now I have to be obedient because obedience is better than sacrifice. When I was giving it to the family member, that was a sacrifice. But what I'm doing for what God is telling me to do with it is obedience. And sometimes obedience is saying no. So you can tell God yes.
That's good, bro. This is really really been good, man. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule tonight. We got a few more minutes, so just a couple more questions, man. I just want to pull. We might have to do a part two, honestly, man. This is really really good. Um, so for you, and where business is going and where life is going, man. How do you maintain like what's priority?
So I do have a priority list. So God knows he's number one. Then it comes to my family, my wife and my daughter. Then after that, it's the ministry and the business that he gave me.
Yeah,
Steward those things. So prioritizing everything was I had to hire enough people to free me up. Understanding my value, right? So there was this exercise we did in Colombia where you had to discover how much you're worth an hour. And if there's a job that can be done less than what you're worth, hire somebody to do it, right? So that frees me up because if you need me, you need to pay that per hour, right? So since I don't find a lot of people don't want to pay that, so I send in other people. But what that did was 9 a.m. my business line goes on. I'm business. 5 o'clock, do not disturb automatically pops on. I'm dad. I'm husband. I'm being intentional in the moment because I need the balance.
yeah, that's good.
I have cutoffs, and that was a hard thing to learn because you're telling yourself no.
Yeah, that's good, bro. And I'm glad we having this conversation because I just remember, especially during the pandemic, right? And this is where I think, as leaders, business, and you do, even though you're home, you have to have office hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like I work strictly remote,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you also know that I have partners that I work with on different projects. And sometimes I will find myself in front of the computer from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30, 10 p.m., right? And
Yeah.
some point you gotta have cutoffs and these boundaries to maintain your health and to maintain your marriage, to maintain your house. Because if you don't, you will burn out. And I think
Yeah.
one of the most visual and simple definitions or reasonings behind burnout is you saying yes to things you should be saying no to.
Yeah.
Yes, and you mentioned, saying yes to God, but then saying no to some other things. And I think, you know, when you're burning out, you're giving yes to too many things. You're saying yes to too many things.
Yeah. You know what? We forget what God did in creation. Every
Talk to me.
time God created something, he took a break and looked at it and said, it's good. We don't take the break to say it's good.
Yeah.
So that's a form of rest. Then he went and created the next day. He
Yeah.
said after he said it was good, then it says then the next day. So that means during that time period, what did he do? He created and then he stopped. It is good. Only time he said it wasn't good, he said it was not good for man to be alone.
That's it.
And then on the seventh day, he rests. If God is saying he had to rest, what makes you think we don't?
This is good, man. This is good because that is so counter culture that's granted on my life. Sacrifice, hustle, paid the
Mhm.
price, right?
Yeah,
They
nip hush.
and they're saying it, man. Hey, Derek, if you don't have cutoffs, you'll cut off your creativity.
That's absolutely true.
He dropping gems.
How can you
Man,
pour from an empty vessel?
whew,
You wind up cracking it. And then when you get poured back into, you leak out because you can't hold it.
this has been a great conversation tonight, man. I'm grateful for you, brother. I
Thank you.
am really, really grateful for you. I want you to give us some. Here's what I want you to do, man, because you talked about a couple things tonight. I want you to just take a moment. I want you to talk to the men tonight. One, from the experience of falling and bouncing back.
Mm-hmm.
Second, to everyone aligning themselves with God, because you talked about obedience is better than sacrifice. So I want you to just take a moment, talk to the brothers.
So we're taught not to cry or to hide our scars and our wounds and be strong as men. But one thing I realized when I read the scripture that God takes every tear you cry and pour it on your blessing, I found out by me not crying, I don't give him nothing to water my blessing with. I don't give him what he needs to nourish me. He will collect your tears and pour it on your blessing. So it's okay to cry, be vulnerable, understand the wounds that you go through. We all go through it. I go through it. I break, I cry. And it's okay to be vulnerable. We are men, but we are people. We have emotions. We need love too. Sometimes we need a hug. And it's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay to need a hug
yeah,
because whose shoulder can you cry on? It reminds me, and this is going to my men's conference. When David was in the cave, when he was hiding from Saul, I seen a bunch of broken men gather with him and said they were broken, they were in debt, and they needed to be around each other. But when broken men got together, they started healing each other because iron sharpens iron. And when
yeah,
iron sharpens iron, they went out and they started conquering and taking over land. And those were the same men that took over the kingdom whenever David took, when Saul fell.
yeah,
So it's okay to be broken. God blesses broken people. It's okay.
yeah,
Stop holding back your blessings. Stop being vulnerable with yourself because sometimes we don't like looking in the mirror. And so we don't need to do that. And be vulnerable with yourself and God. And it's okay. Now, the second question, remind me, what was that again for everybody?
the second question for everybody, man, just the importance of that obedience piece, especially when
Yes.
it comes to their business ministry assignment, and what they've been called to do.
Being obedient to God is one of the hardest things, but it's the most rewarding thing
Mhm.
because God will have you do something. And I kid you not. I had a house. I'm going to leave with this story. I had a house I was doing consecration, and I was upstairs in my altar, because the altar is the place where God meets you. A lot of people think the altar is at the church, but it's really the place where God meets you. That's why they built the altar every time they had an altercation. So wherever God meets you, that's your altar, and go back to that place where He met you. So I go back to my altar, and I'm studying about consecration. I want to learn more, and God was showing me like about stewardship, right? And He was like, if you trust me enough to believe that everything I give you, that means you'll release it if I tell you to release it. I kid you not, I almost got done fixing up this house. Put about 60,000 into the house, owned it outright cash. House is about almost worth $150,000-$200,000. And I was in prayer. God said, I want you to give this house away to your friend. I haven't spoken to this friend in like 10, 12 years. What? What, God, are you sure this is you? What are you talking about? He says, but I thought you said you were going to be obedient. Okay. I hit the friend up on Facebook and said, hey, for some reason, God laid you on my heart. He told me to give you this house. I don't know what's going on. He texted me, said, that's crazy. I just got done saying amen because I just gave my life over to God. And me and my wife are in a struggle right now. And we need a house. Being obedient means if He asks you to do a hard thing, can He trust you? Obedience to God also offers Him trusting you with more. Because if you're faithful over a few things, He'll make you ruler over many. And I never knew that God would cause me. I always thought I would be the recipient when it says God would cause men to give into your bosom. I thought He would cause men to give to me, not me actually being the one to give, especially something that was that high in value to me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I sit here.
Thank you, Lord.
Because that was a form of my first fruit, which is different from a tithe. That was one of the first houses I actually owned. And I wound up giving it back and being obedient. So with His obedience, yeah, it hurts. Yeah, He's going to ask you to do the tough things. But stop sacrificing and get in alignment with obedient. And God was going to open up the floodgates, I'm telling you, because the Bible teaches us, seek ye first His kingdom and His righteousness. Seek ye first.
Yeah, that's good.
And that means being obedient when you seek Him.
That's good. That's good. Man, bro.
Thank you for allowing me to be up here, man. I really appreciate the time.
Bro, we gotta have you back, man. When Infusion is over, we're gonna do some Sunday night talks, bro. You know what? We may even just target the men. I think there's something in that. But also, I know you have something coming up, man. Can you share that with everybody?
Yeah, Father's Day weekend, man. And this is a new announcement. I'm actually making it free because the stuff that we're presenting there is Friday night and Saturday, Father's Day weekend. Sunday, you'll be back for Father's Day with your family. It's up in Saddle Ridge. I rented out a hotel. I can seat 100 people. I have massage people coming in. I have people doing nails. I have DJs. I have people talking about, so it's called Your Health is Your Wealth. And a lot of people come to me asking me about money, how to get it. And God, I always wind up telling them it's more than just the money. You see the money, but you don't see the whole you have to be to manage it. So we're talking about physical health and nutrition, because what's the point of getting money if you don't take care of yourself and you can't live to spend it? We're talking about mental health. I'm flying my therapist in from DR. He's like a celebrity therapist. He has some celebrity people, whatever, but he's a great therapist. And he's flying in. We're going to talk about your mental health, because once you get physically healthy, you got to make sure your mind is healthy.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about your financial health, because now once you're physically healthy, your mind is clear. We got to make sure you know how to be a steward of the wealth that God gives you. And then I'm going to close it out with the spiritual health and tie it all in. And there, I'm going to have opportunities for people to get jobs. I'm going to have business opportunities for people who want to get in real estate. I'm also going to open the doors up to teach on a lot of these things. There's going to be a panel. I'm going to be a part of the panel to talk about what it takes, and I have different investment levels. You can invest $300. And if you're disciplined enough, I can show you how you can turn that into $1 million. And I actually have a mapped out plan about it. So I want people to come. I want them to get these nuggets. And then I'm also, I wrote a book called I Must Be About My Father's Business. And it's going to be on sale there. And it talks about how God kind of ran heaven and the earth as an organization.
Yeah.
When he had bad employees, he fired Satan. Judas was a backstabber. These are all things that we deal with in business, and it talks about the definitions between ownership and stewardship. But thank you for allowing me. I hope I'll be able to see you guys there. It's free. Come on.
Yeah, definitely looking at that calendar, man, and gonna lock at least a couple of those days in. You said Friday and Saturday, so that would be
Yeah,
the
Friday nights. Yeah, chill night DJ. Got some things. We're gonna get a massage. We got a massage therapist and all that stuff. Friday night, we're gonna do the physical health stuff and then do some activities and whatever. But Saturday is real work. Friday night's real work too. Saturday we're gonna pick back up in the work.
Yo, we're there, man. We are there. We are there. So before the 20th and the 21st.
Yes, Infusion. Let's go.
Friday.
Let's go.
Next Friday. Next Friday we're in Fusion. Listen, we have about I think it's 65 seats left for that Saturday. Yo, we just talked about faith. I'm out here working.
Yeah.
I believe every seat that we plan for Saturday to be filled, right? And so over the next week we're going to be working, so we will be taking registration at the door before Saturday morning. Registration is $50 on that Saturday morning. Is going to be 65 day of, but listen, we're preparing to have you all. And Dr. Glenn, tickets are booked, hotel is booked.
Yeah.
He's on his way here.
How much are the tickets again?
The tickets are $50.
All right. I'm a sponsor 3 people. So
all right, cool.
Not including myself, I'm paying for my separate.
All right. So look, there we go. We got 3 scholarships. So you know what? We got 3 scholarships. I'll say that. We got 3 scholarships. Inbox me or inbox Dion or text. We got 3 scholarships. I'm gonna announce it at prayer tomorrow morning, so we get some more people in there. Listen, I've been connecting with younger creatives because I want them to be in the room. It's an investment. So again, we just believe next week is just gonna be a great weekend for everything that we discussed tonight. With that spiritual impartation, y'all. Listen, y'all know we had Soul Care with Dr. Guy Robinson, so we're not doing this without taking care of our souls. And so, we're gonna definitely be in there, man. Shout out to my young guy, Donovan Marshall, who is innovative in the video space, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for logging in tonight. But share this conversation, and over the next week, we getting everybody to Whole Life Community Church next weekend.
Yes.
I'm not inviting you out to dinner or for drinks. I want you to drink from the well that won't run dry.
Come on.
Huh?
You won't thirst again.
You will never thirst again. I'm trying to tell you. But next Friday night, all roads lead to Whole Life Community Church. Dr. Jamone Glenn, Percy Robinson, Kiana Coley. We're going to be in the building. We're going to be in worship. Saturday, we're sharpening those tools. We're going to have the room full with some thinkers, with some creatives, with some, as we would say, movers and shakers. That's what we would say back in the day, movers and shakers. And it's going to be amazing. That's all I got to say. So the other thing I'm going to ask that you pray with me, right? I want you to pray with me this next week or so about the impact. I believe it's going to be life-changing. I believe that it's going to be transformative, and that it's going to really set us on a trajectory. Watch this. To close this first half of this year out strong, no matter what has happened the previous 5 months, but to close this out and have a great second half.
Yes.
I mean, and for the brothers, that's the seed. And then in a couple of weeks from that, we go up to Saddle Ridge. What did you say?
Yeah.
Saddle Ridge.
Oh, wait.
It's in Park Ridge.
Oh, Park Ridge. My bad. Erica.
Park Ridge. Oh, Park Ridge. It's about 20 minutes from here, y'all. Park Ridge.
Yeah.
Park Ridge is about 20 minutes from here, right? So I know where that is because I definitely was gonna be like, yo, Dion, let me get that address, bro.
Yeah, my bad. You know what? I was looking at property in different places and then did all.
See, all right, got you. But man, so much is happening this month, and we want everybody to be plugged in. And I want to be very intentional to say, so when I was talking to a couple of my friends about infusion and what we wanted to do, they said, Jason, ask for what you want. And so here I am sharing with our community. Dr. Glenn is coming in, and we have some amazing people that's going to be a part of the weekend. And so I'm asking you to support the weekend. Both days, one day, support the weekend. Men and women can come, right? March, it was only men for Saturday, but men and women can come to this. Friday is open to everybody. Saturday, it does require a registration. We'll post the link. The link is already on my page if you go. The most recent flyer I posted yesterday. But we'll be posting over the next few days. So, Dion, again, thank you. Erica, thank you. Appreciate you both. Blessings to your family.
Yes.
Right, y'all? And want you all to have a great night. Listen, we pray Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I'll be on matter of fact, I'll be on tomorrow morning. I'll be on Sunday evening as we look at innovation in the health and wellness space. And then I'll be back on live next Tuesday night. Man, we got some very special guests. It's going to be some great conversations, y'all. So I appreciate y'all, and have a great night.
Have a good night.
Family, what up? I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jamon Glenn, to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th.